Tesla has announced big exciting news to build a factory in Thailand, although it wasn't actually Tesla that made the announcement, and there's no confirmation. So maybe I should bring in Randy Kirk to see if there's any plausibility to this rumor. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Randy, big news, big news. I don't know if you heard, but yeah. Tesla in talks with Thailand for production facility, says government official. What do you
Where have
think?
we heard this before?
I feel like we may have heard a rumor or two very similar to this. Electric vehicle, Tesla's in talks with the government for a potential production facility in the country, having conducted a site survey last year. Thai government has offered Tesla 100% green energy to run the facility that can produce EVs or batteries. Thailand is Southeast Asia's largest car producer and exporter and has ambitions to become the main EV production hub in the region because, of course, they do. Why wouldn't you want to be that? Country's already drawn investments from Chinese manufacturers. Possible, plausible, nonsense, or is this
Well,
just
let's see.
yeah?
Let's see. I want to see if I can get the entire list here. France, United Kingdom, Canada, India, Indonesia. I'm missing Poland.
Well, Randy, since I got you here, just last week, Tesla in talks with let's share the correct one. With Italy to build.
Yeah, that's right, Italy,
Spain. To build a factory. So, I mean, this is very exciting stuff. Did you know Tesla's in talks with Italy? According to a government official. Now, you know how many people work for a government, right? It's a few. It's a few. If you wanted to make clickbait, do you know how easy it would be to find a government official to tell you what you wanted to hear? Italy's Minister of Business and Made Adolfo Urso said the country is in talks with a number of manufacturers about setting up production in Italy. That I believe. He said Tesla was among the automakers with whom the government held talks. That I believe. We've had conversations with, all kinds of people from different countries, not just Eastern ones. And why wouldn't, in his opinion, tensions and connection with Tesla's development in Germany may become a reason. Italy. How's that rank on your list of ideal candidates?
Well, the Italians do have a pretty darn good reputation for making some pretty sweet cars, but have they ever done a sweet car that was mass produced and made money?
Oh no! Oh dear. Well, if we're going to use the old racing association definition of mass produced, I think 5 was the number.
5, yes, right.
Ferrari is very profitable.
Yes. One of maybe the most profitable auto company of all. Yeah.
By volume, on a unit per unit basis, yes. And believe it or not, they do have an assembly line, a real assembly line. Yeah. But yeah, the German city rejected plans. Not quite. That's not quite what happened. It's a non-binding vote among the community. Community is only made up of about 5,000, 6,000 people. And there was a very high turnout, something like 70%, and they did vote it down. Yeah. But it's a non-binding vote, and it's crazy that I get it. Maybe you want your neighborhood to be a little quieter, but the factory is not in your neighborhood. There's no neighborhood there. But if we're going to be talking about that, I know you like to share these things. So Tesla's, Ontario. Yes. Did you forget about Canada?
I said Canada. It was on the list.
Oh, okay.
I did think of 2 more. Japan and South Korea were not on the list that I just suggested. I'll try to think of more.
I don't remember those being announced. I know people like me were talking about Japan, but I don't know. Indonesia, you did say that one.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Because the Indonesian president went to Texas to visit him.
Yeah,
and great. That's great. And you did mention, of course, Spain. Yes. And this one, Reuters had reported it as just about being a done deal. About a done deal. And again, Reuters was wrong. But Reuters gets so much wrong these days, it's shameful. As I mentioned in the green room, Reuters is the one who said Giga Mexico City was just a done deal. It's going to happen. They're going to fly the cars out from the airport. And anyone with a lick of sense would have looked at that and said, how did this get past the editor? No editor should have let this story see the light of day. So yes, a more than $4.5 billion factory. And then do you remember why? And again, I think it was Reuters leading the charge. Why this one was canceled?
The one for Mexico City?
No, the one for
No,
Spain.
Spain. Oh yes. Well, we remember, of course, that some Spanish person in the government leaked the story that it was a done deal, and Tesla decided that that was an unforgivable sin, and that therefore they would leave Spain and never go back again, which didn't pass the smell test with me. I reported it at the time, but it didn't pass the smell test with me because these ministers in these various countries have been leaking stuff forever. They wouldn't be able to do business anywhere.
They wouldn't be able to do business. That doesn't make sense. Oh, every factory has been leaked. Every
Yes.
none of them came as nobody. Come on.
North or South Carolina. That was another one that was pretty high. Now that's not a different country. I understand that.
But it's a whole different.
I did get a B- in geography, so I do know that's in the United States. But that was also a very hot prospect.
Yeah, very crazy to think that that would be a factor at all. And I get it. You maybe had conversations with them. You were maybe confident it would turn into something, but that's a weird way to try and save face. Is I guess what I would say on that. So getting back to Thailand,
Oh,
I don't
yes.
know, man. I don't know if.
Well, Warren's there. Warren Redlick's
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's a hint.
I don't know how that would work. But the Thai government, yeah, they're already getting manufacturing. I don't know. It's possible. It doesn't seem like a critical step. I think the relationship with China is sufficiently strong at this time that it would make more sense to build an additional factory in China, maybe in a
Yeah.
different part of China, but really probably just also in Shanghai. What do you think? If it's a choice between Thailand and another factory in China, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go another way, and I don't pretend to really know what I'm talking about on
You
this.
do pretend.
I'm going to pretend that I have some insight because I've spent most of my career dealing in Asia, and so I keep my ear to the ground still with some of my friends and associates that do that. I think Vietnam is the one that is
Mm,
out of the Southeast Asian countries. It's Vietnam that is kind of at the forefront of manufacturing, where Cambodia and Thailand are more in clothing and things of that nature, not so much in the manufacturing space. But there's a lot of folks headed towards Vietnam for manufacturing. That's been going on for a good 10 or 12 years now.
okay, I would agree with that. In the comments, what I do want to know before we continue our discussion, in the comments, what I want to know is where do you think the next factory will be announced? And it could be China, it could be Berlin, but if it's not one of those, where would it be? And if you do say China or Berlin, give me a second one too, because there is wisdom in the masses, and the comments that these videos attract tend to be really good. And if the videos where I make you a little smarter, the comments are where you make me a little smarter. So please do that because I need it. I need that so badly.
I thought I was giving you that. I thought that's why I thought that was my job.
You were trying, but I
Oh,
tuned you out months ago, Randy. Months ago. You can also check out the old Randy Kirk channel there. Ooh, I'll get it sorted. I'll get it. There we go. And see what he's up to. He's got some great guests, including me, but we'll see how that works. I don't know, man. In terms of factories, do you think India is still on the table?
wow, that's a good question. Quite frankly, I thought that there would have been an announcement by now. I thought that was kind of wrapped up. So we do know that we get into some of these countries like India, where you have a very, very top-heavy government, and where there's bureaucracy times 27. I think I may have even had you on a few months ago. We did a big, big deep dive into China, into India, into Korea, into that whole section over there with Larry and Lutz, talking about what they know, because they're both major players in those countries. And India just seemed to be the right place, seemed to be the right thing to do. Indonesia might have been a good fallback, but I think the engineering talent in India is probably a lot stronger. I think they're turning out 5 times as many engineers as the United States, or something on that order.
They have something, I don't have the number in front of me, but yeah, you remember I made that whole video about why India is a great choice. And one of the reasons was they have like 1,000 engineering schools, universities.
Yeah.
I don't remember the number, but it was a
Lot.
truly breathtaking number. And then I had people come back and say, oh, will you do one of these for, I'm trying to remember if it was the United Arab Emirates or Kuwait or somewhere like that. I think it was the Emirates. And I looked at it and said, there are 5 universities that even have an engineering program. That's not going to give you a very deep bench. So, well, yes, but we can attract international talent. Everyone can attract international talent. And there are countries that are a lot more fun than the UAE, which is a very expensive place to live if you wish to live in any kind of comfort. And it's
they do. It is interesting. Some of those really rich Arab potentate areas are pulling in substantial talent from the southeast, from the Pacific basin. I can speak intelligently about that because I know that that's taking place from some things that I've been involved in. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we found something about which you could speak intelligently.
Actually, finally.
Well, the next show I'm going to have you on, we're going to be talking about some things that involve the law. And Randy has a law degree. I'm not sure how much he paid for that box of Cracker Jacks it came out of, but he should get a refund, because I'm just telling you now. So guys, in the comments, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? Like, subscribe, do the usual things, smack the thumbs. If you appreciate these kind of shows, maybe throw me some love on Patreon, as a patron, on YouTube as a channel member, or on X as a subscriber. That's how I actually pay the bills. The wealth and fame of being a fantastic YouTuber is not a thing for so many of us. So Randy, thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you soon.